Stick Boy and Sasquatch learn how to flick the bean. Stick Boy and Sasquatch took a stroll one summer day, when off in the distance they saw Susie and asked her if she wanted to play. Susie said, "No, I'm busy," so they asked what she had to do. Susie replied, "I'm flicking my bean. This is no concern to you." Stick Boy and Sasquatch were very sad that Susie was being so mean. They pleaded with Susie to let them watch her while she flicked her bean. Susie said, "No, I'm too shy. I do not want to let you watch." This was a disappointment for Stick Boy and Sasquatch. Susie said, "I'm practicing for the coming bean flicking games. I'm not very good, as you can see. My bean flicking skills are lame." Stick Boy told her that's fine. Of you we will not make fun. A girl learning how to flick her bean is a good thing for everyone. Sasquatch piped up and said, "Maybe by watching you, the two of us together just may learn to flick beans too." "Don't be silly," Susie laughed out loud. "There is simply no way that boys flick beans as good as girls. That is what I say." "But we will see," Susie said with a grin. "Okay, I'll let you watch," as smiles appeared on the faces of Stick Boy and Sasquatch. The two watched as Susie knelt and placed her finger on her bean. She gave her bean a tiny flick, and she began to scream. "I'm almost at the finish line," Susie shouted with joy. Just one more flick, and she was there, to the amazement of the boys. Stick Boy said, "You're really good at flicking your bean. Why were you so shy?" Susie said, "I've never flicked my bean in front of any girl or guy." Susie felt relaxed and decided to finally see if boys could flick beans as good as girls. Sasquatch volunteered happily. Sasquatch stepped forward and gave Susie's bean a mighty flick. He flicked it so hard it flew right off the track. Susie thought she might be sick. "No, Sasquatch," Susie moaned. "You're flicking my bean too rough." "I'm very sorry," Sasquatch replied, in a voice so gruff. Susie said, "You must flick my bean softer if the finish line you want to reach. I will forgive you, for it was your first try. You will learn, and I will teach." Then Susie said, "I can teach you as well, if you want to learn, Stick Boy." Stick Boy replied, "I would just like to watch while I play with my toy." All day long, Susie taught Sasquatch to flick her little bean. Soon Sasquatch became the best bean flicker she had ever seen. The day that they were waiting for finally came to be. Bean flicking fans from all over town were waiting patiently. Sasquatch and Stick Boy were in the front row. Their friend Susie they came to support. They knew that she was going to win. Her bean flicking skills beyond retort. "Susie will finish before any," Sasquatch excitedly proclaimed, as all the girls put their beans in their respective lanes. Susie was distracted as she had never seen so many boys waiting to watch her flick her little bean. She tripped over a rock on the ground and took a terrible fall. She fell upon her bean flicking finger in front of one and all. The crowd fell silent and wondered what this tragedy would mean. Would Susie be able to start the race and flick her little bean? Susie cried out, "I'm done for! This race I cannot win. My bean flicking finger is much too sore for me to even begin." Then Sasquatch asked the judges, would it be against the rules if I were to flick Susie's bean for her? The judges replied, "That's cool." The crowd watched in amazement as Sasquatch gave Susie's bean a flick. One flick, two flick, three flick, four, She was at the finish line so quick. The other girls were jealous because they had never seen a boy so good as Sasquatch was in the skill of flicking beans. Then the girls asked Susie, "If it's all right with you, could Sasquatch flick our beans as well and get us to the finish line too? The boys here don't care much for beans. With their toys they would rather play. They do not want to learn to flick the way Sasquatch did today." There were so many beans to flick, so Sasquatch used both hands. Every girl's bean reached the finish line. Cheers echoed throughout the stands. Stick Boy learned a lesson that day. It's important for every boy to learn to flick a bean so good instead of always playing with their toys. Boys can learn to flick a bean as good as girls is true. And in return, a girl may offer to play with your toy too. The end.